Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Long. I'm the Customer Service and Account Manager at Iowa Land Records. I've worked here for a really long time, and I've seen e-submission change and grow over time to the point that last year, over 67% of all documents were recorded electronically in Iowa. My PR pitch about Iowa Land Records and e-submission is the fast way to get documents recorded and turned around to you. How efficient I think it is, because you can submit 24/7 from any computer, and those documents will be waiting for review by the recorder on the next business day. We hear stories of, hey, we're across the street from the courthouse and we love them, but it's easier for us to do it this way, or we'd rather walk them over, but we'll use them for other counties. So today I'm here to talk about e-submission, answer all your questions, walk you through the process, and hope that if you're not currently using e-submission, that you will be soon, or if you need a little of a refresher, that it is out there. I'm backed up today by two people from our team, Kristen Delaney Cole, who is our communications and marketing coordinator, and Samantha McMahon, who is our accounting coordinator. We're a fairly small but mighty team. We are based in Johnston. So if you're ever in the area and want to say hi, we'd love to say hello to you. Or if you're local to Des Moines and you've got a big team that needs a training session done, if you give us a call, we can come to your location. If you're out of the metro and you want a training like this done for your team, if you let us know, we're going to be happy to do that for you. There's no cost, and we can tailor it to what's best for your team. So with that in mind, let's get started. So I'm on the home screen of Iowa Land Records. I hope the resolution is good. I tried to move things around a little bit so it would look better. This is what the screen looks like when you log in, if you have e-submission enabled for your username. So you've got home, you've got a little blurb over here about what the date is, how to contact us if you need help, how to join us for an upcoming webinar, much like this. So we do these every couple months. We have recorded webinars out there. If you have somebody in your team that needs to listen to one, they can do it, and they can kind of fast forward through what's out there. We'll go across the menu bar here. We'll come back to that later, but I want to give you that information. So right here, we have change password. If you wanted to change your password, you can do that here. I'm not going to change mine today, but it's out there. And my phone number, it's important to have a number in there so that the recorder can connect with you if they have questions about a document that's been submitted. If you're a current e-submission customer, I think it's important to select this attribute right here, so that when you're submitting a group of documents, you only have to enter the name once. So it's out there, you enter it, and then it will default on the next group, the next document. It will pre-populate, and it's always editable. And I will show you that as we're going through the demo today. And then if I wanted to change my password, I could do that down here. And here are the parameters, both upper and lowercase letters, numbers, special characters, and at least 14 characters. If you're struggling with a password, I find city, state, zip code, and special characters works really well. So I'm going to go back to submitter. So we're back to the home screen. We've got eSearch. So this is how you look for documents that your organization has submitted for recording. And when a document is recorded, you would use recently recorded. If you're looking to check the status of something, you could check search by group name or search by county. And we'll go through that before the end of the webinar today. ILR search, that's where the old Iowa Land Records resides now, where you search for records that are recorded by you or any other organization. I want to go back, and those are both paper and electronic documents will show up there. I want to go back to eSearch real quick. Periodically, we archive images in eSubmission for space consideration. So if you ever try to pull something up that's maybe over 6 months old and you don't get the image under eSearch because your organization recorded it, it's not because anything happened to it. It's just that we archived it, and then you would go into ILR search. Okay, on to admin. There's lots of stuff going on here. First, submitter information. This is the information about your organization. We're going to open that up and take a look. So the organization name, how you submit to us through a user interface. This account number, that's not your bank account number or anything. It's an internal number for Iowa Land Records, that this organization is a bank. This is their address, who the primary contact is, a phone number, and again, another email address at the bottom. And you can update information here by selecting edit, and only the information that can be edited will be available. So we're going to select save there to hold on to all that information. Go on to the next screen. When you're a new submitter, you receive an email from us, from Corey Strasser on our team, that says, hey, here's how you log in. And the next information is how to enter your payment information. So you have to enter payment information in eSubmission in Iowa Land Records before you can submit documents for recording. And remember, you're never charged for recording until the document is actually recorded. But you do need to enter that. This update account that I'm skipping over is much like change password and changing names and stuff like that there. So submitter payment information here, you need to do this before you even try to submit documents. And again, you can select edit. And you can see the organization name, the account number, an account holder's first and last name, an email address, some questions about billing address, and the address below, how the organization is paying, either EFT batch or with a credit card. And then business checking or savings is the next. You're going to notice that there's no information displayed here. It was entered, it is saved in the background, but it does not display, and that's for just a security issue. So don't be alarmed if you come in here to make a change and there's nothing displayed here. Do remember that if you need to change something here, like the address of who's going to get some reports or something like that, that's right here, that you will need to enter the payment information again. And if you don't, payments will fail. So keep that in mind. Again, always call our office if you have questions. Next is users. You may have unlimited users on your account. There are multiple roles that you can have, and you can have unlimited people in each role. So I think for the most basic one that could be on your account is somebody who can search only. So they're only able to use Iowa Land Records for search. They can't do anything with e-recording or e-submission. You're certainly welcome to change their role as you need to do that, but that's all they have access to. And as I showed you at the beginning, what it looks like here, these pending groups, if you have submitter enabled on your ID, they wouldn't have that. They would only have access to search. That's the most basic. The next is the search administrator. Everybody on your account that has search enabled can have unlimited searches and index views every day, can view up to 120 images per day. If you ever are working on a large project and you exceed that per user, not per account, if you contact us, we'll help you get set up so you can have more image views throughout the day. And we set that for a pretty short time period and then reassess when that's over. So you've got the basic searcher, then you have a search admin. Those people can add additional people to the account and update their roles as necessary. Next is a submitter user. So we have one right here, a submitter user who also has search enabled. He's our worker bee, and he is Phil Dunshee, who's actually our project manager. So this person can search the Iowa Land Records database, and they can submit documents for recording, okay? Pretty basic user. And then finally, we have this person who's a submitter admin. They also have search. Because they're a submitter admin, they're also a search admin. So they can submit documents for recording. They can search whatever they want. They can update the information I showed you on the account information or the payment information. They can submit documents. If I already said that, I apologize. They can add users to the account. They can delete users. They can update roles. They can update passwords. and they can generate reports. So they can do just about everything. And the other thing that a submitter admin can do is they can act on any group within the organization. So we see all these groups here that I've created in advance of today's webinar that are in decline status. They're going to need some attention to get them resubmitted and recorded. An admin would be able to go in, read the comments, look at the status, and determine what needs to be done and get those resubmitted. So the admin can do just about everything. And a lot of those permissions and requests for those permissions came out of some focus groups we did a couple years ago with users that said, hey, what would you really like? Okay. And then finally, right down here, we have reports, and this is used for reconciliation. So a settlement report, we can generate one of those real quick. And I'm going to do this for the month of April because I'll do current quarter. And the blue bar means it's working. And so you can see all these documents that were recorded. We've been doing a lot of testing for some upcoming changes. So the group name, who's the submitter, the submission number, the transaction date. Let's see, let's move across here. The recording time and the recording information, this looking at this last one, the 2025 ending in 2214, that would have been the recording number, the document type, and then a couple more things. Who recorded it? Who submitted that for recording? So if you ever have a question, you can go do it. And where are the fees? I must have missed that. Oh, and here are the total fees right here. So you can go back and look at that and try to determine maybe what account needs to be charged or something like that. So any questions to this point? Because that is a lot of information. Okay. Onward. If you have questions, jump in. If Kristen and Samantha can't answer those, I'll jump back in. Next is support, a transfer tax calculator. If you ever need to determine what that would be, it will always calculate the right amount. So you can take a look at it. You'll see when I submit a conveyance documented deed that it also calculates, but this is a good place to start. We have customer support if you need to connect with our team. Kristen will enter this information in the chat for you. Support@claris.com is a great way to get a hold of us. You can certainly call us as well, and she'll post that phone number in the chat pod for you. But you can ask for help, and we're happy to connect with you. Honestly, if you call us, we answer the phone if we're not busy. So if we're not helping another customer or submitter or searcher, we'll be happy to answer the phone. And so I'm on the homepage here where I send people, if they have questions about how to apply, submitting either the business application or the individual application or logging in. So going back here, and then the group delete report, if you wanted to see which documents had been deleted, that would be there. So I love this settlement report. I think it's a great tool to use for reconciliation.
Before you jump into that real quick, Lisa, we had a question. Is the document/instrument type in the report from a drop-down list?
When you submit a document, yes, and you will see that. I'm about to start submitting docs here. So yes, you will see that. I hope that answers the question. Okay, so back to home and back to pending groups. We'll come back to these. I want to submit things and then show you how you can correct an error. So first thing, you've got a pile of documents, a packet of documents, whatever you call it, that you need to submit. Maybe it's only one document. You've got a mortgage that you need to submit if you're with a bank, or you have a release that you want to submit. If you're with an attorney's office, it may be only the affidavit of surviving spouse. So first step to submitting a document after you've entered your payment information is select new submission, select the county that you're going to submit to, and then name the group. And it's anything that will help you find it later. So it may be maybe a client name. so that you can find it later, and you know, like a file number that goes with it, or something like that, so you can find it later. Remember, it must be unique. So if you used Smith C&D 514123 2025, you wouldn't be able to use it again. But if you needed to record something else for them today, if you put a space or a dash in there, the system will accept it as unique. Okay, so you've got your group created. It's empty. It's kind of like addressing the envelope to go to the recorder. And then you're going to start adding documents to the group, right? So the first is a deed. So you see that that drops down. Some of these have been used a lot, so they've come to the top. But so here's the drop down. It will go down to the warranty deed. Notice that the number of auditor transfers always defaults to 1. That's 1 parcel is included. I would encourage you to not use the number of additional transactions field. It is not the number of additional documents that you are adding to a group. Putting a number here will result in charges times $7. So, and it's hard to get that money back if it's done in error. So in general, don't use this field, okay? You always have to have at least 1 here. If you're transferring more than 1 parcel, you're going to increase that. You can enter any number that you want here. It could be up to 500, but the maximum charge allowed by law is for 10 auditor transfers on 1 document, okay? You have to enter a real estate value. If this is a situation maybe where it's a quitclaim deed, as an example, in a divorce, so there's no money being exchanged, you would enter $1 here. I'm going to enter $750,000 here for the real estate value, and I'm going to browse for the image. So I have a lot of test images saved. You're always going to scan in black and white, portrait orientation, and we encourage 300 DPI. So as soon as I attach the image, so I did that right there. Over here, the fees calculate. So the standard fee is based on the number of pages that were in the image I attached. So 2 pages, $7 for the first, 5 for each additional. The $5 auditor fee based on the number here. The transfer tax is calculated on this $750,000. There's a $3 service fee on all documents except for declaration of value and groundwater. And here's the total fees for this document right here. You can also see the total group fees up here. So as additional documents are added to this group, the group fees will go up, okay? There's also a warning here that says this group requires a party information and that it needs a declaration of value and a groundwater. So we're going to do all of those things. So let's see if this works. Edit, save. So as soon as you select save after attaching the image, it starts to, it tells you to enter the party name. And you only need 1. So we've got C's initial in there. You don't need the middle initial. And then you select save. And so you'll see that that warning that it needed a party name has disappeared. And then you can add the next document, the declaration of value and the groundwater. So up here, add document, click here and select declaration of value right there. Attach the image, reminding you there's no recording fees and also no e-submission fee for a declaration of value. So a couple things. 1, when I select save, there will be no fees that display here on the right because there's no fees for this document. And because I have that attribute selected that says, please add the same party to the next document, I'm not going to get that modal that pops up asking me for the party name. So select save. It'll take a second to catch up. And the only thing that's left is it's telling me it needs a groundwater hazard statement. So I'm going to go ahead and do that by selecting add document and G for groundwater. Browse for the image. And save. So earlier, while we wait for this to catch up, earlier I said documents should be scanned in portrait orientation. The exception to that is a survey, okay? Sometimes corner certificates are submitted in landscape orientation as well, but you would need to select a survey as the document type. So, all right, so we've got their name here. You can edit this. Remember the party names were C and D, so I can update that to D if I want to. I'm only allowed to enter one party. I can send a message here to the recorder if I want to. My constant warning is if you have something that's really important to tell the recorder, I would call their office, ask to speak to whoever's working on electronic recording that day. I think that a lot of you have relationships with a recorder, maybe your local recorder or the ones in the surrounding counties. And so you know who you want to talk to when you have something going on. But I would encourage you, instead of sending a message here, that you would actually call them. Okay, I'm going to do one more document here, and that's a power of attorney. I'm going to add that, and I'm going to browse for the image and save. So you're going to see the fees appear over here, $22. So that's 4 pages, the $3 e-submission fee, and you've got the total fees now for those 2 documents that have fees in them. The group is in progress. That indicates it has not been submitted yet. And then one more thing, if any of you worked in the legacy e-submission, which it's been at least a year and a half since we transferred everyone to the new system, you may remember that if you had to change the order of documents, you had to use arrows to click up and down to get them in the right order. So here, all you need to do is left click and then drag it to where you want it to be. So I moved the power of attorney to first, and I'm going to move the groundwater to second, just so you can see that. So here's what we're left with. We have 4 documents in this group: the power of attorney, the deed, the groundwater, the declaration of value. We can add a document. I can change the county. If I wanted to switch that to Adams, it'll change that automatically. I know this is the group I'm working on because it has a padlock on it. And if someone else in your group were to access this, so they clicked on that group trying to be helpful, they would receive a warning that says, hey, Lisa's also working on this group. Do you acknowledge this, or something like that? Okay. You can add more documents. You can review the group. So that's what that is doing. And you can submit the group, or here you can look at each submission. So you've got the submission number. You can look at it. That's the power of attorney. Remember, these are test docs, so I'm not sure what these are. But you can take a look at each image if you want to. So that was just a blank one apparently that we used. And that did not display on my screen. I apologize. Okay, so if everything looks good, last step, submit group, okay? You don't receive an email when it is submitted successfully, and you don't get charged until it's actually recorded. What you will see is a message up here in green that says it was submitted successfully.
Before you move on to the next step, Lisa, we did get a couple of questions in the chat. One of them is a little long, so you might want to pull it up, but I will do my best to read it. It's asking if there will be any document types added that aren't already in the drop-down list. And the background on that is this person does a lot of recording for resolutions with the only option for a document as other. And so they're wanting to know if there are other options.
I don't think there's anything planned right now. So I think you're Michelle, and I haven't talked to you forever, so I hope you're doing well. I don't think there is any changes planned. And I'm going to guess that you're recording in Polk, Dallas, maybe Madison and Warren. When those are actually recorded, do you see them come up under a different document type that is transferred to Iowa Land Records? Because I don't think we have any of those on any of those document types on either side. It's certainly something we could take into consideration, but I don't think there is, I don't think there's anything in consideration right now. And certainly if you have questions later, you can give me a call. And then Richard, to your question, when a plat of survey is submitted, does the system ask for real estate value? No, it only asks for that on a conveyance document. Okay. Everybody good with those questions and answers and on to more things? So I'm going to submit a couple more groups. Is there anything, throw this in comments, is there anything that you want to see me submit? Something that's specific to your organization or what you do? Okay, so back to Michelle's point, what she's submitting, we don't have that for wastewater management or anything like that. So she is submitting documents as other. And I really do believe that's your only option at this time. So we're going to go ahead and select that one. And you'll see it is going to ask me for the party name. Can be grantor or grantee, person or organization. So we will put City of Johnston in here. Remember, you're only entering one name here, but the county will index all the party names that are on the document, okay? Actually, I learned something the other day. A county had indexed something and a user questioned it, and it was actually the person who had signed the document. So as an example, if it was me, my name would have been included in the document as Lisa Long, but when I signed it as L Long, and they indexed both Lisa and L. So I learned something, and I've worked here forever, so that was kind of a fun day to learn that. Okay, so back to Michelle, it's a document type other, and you would see that the fees are $7. And then this $3 e-submission fee, we've entered one party here. Okay. To Richard's question, submitting a survey right here. And you can see that the number of additional transactions and audit fees are not eligible for you to work on. So that's not there. And then I'm going to save this one. You'll see the fees, the $3, and the group fees are up to $25. Status is still in progress up here. The lock is on it, so you know that you're working on it. And the last step is always submit group. We've for years said that anything in pending groups should be considered your to-do list. So anytime you see something up here, it's your to-do list. And that's a question I'm going to ask you if you call me is, can you see it in pending groups? And that's really where you should be looking for something. If you think maybe it hasn't been submitted, is look there and then go to the e-search. Okay. Any other questions about that right now?
Backtracking a little bit, there's a couple of questions. When a document doesn't list a grantor or grantee, which is the best one to choose?
Oh, give me an example.
That was Michelle. And while she takes a minute to respond, our other question asks if you can submit a long-term lease or easement.
Yes. Absolutely. Anything you would have recorded, you can absolutely submit electronically. So if it doesn't have a name, I would choose the owner and enter that information, Michelle, because when you're searching for it, isn't that what you're searching for? That's all right. I understand. But wouldn't you be searching for the owner name when it's really not a grantor or a grantee? I think so. Okay. Do I have all the questions covered right now?
Yeah, you're caught up. These are good questions, guys. Keep sending them.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So let's work through documents that have been declined, documents that are submitted with a fee change, and then we can come back to questions. So I'm here as long as you need me. So documents are submitted. The recorder is notified that the group is out there ready for their review. They would review within 24 hours or 1 business day generally. It's usually quicker, but occasionally an office could be closed for whatever reason. And I think that is a little more prevalent in a smaller county because they have less people to work. So as an example, I know there's the recorders have an all county meeting coming up in the middle of June. And I've received notice from one county that they'll be closed all day Thursday and part of Friday. And when the meeting breaks up, they'll go back and catch up on Friday afternoon. So 24 hours, 1 business day is the turnaround time. After a document is recorded, they should transfer the recorded document to Iowa Land Records for searching within 72 hours or 3 business days. So they receive notice that it's out there, they review it, they find a problem, and they decline it. So you haven't been charged, but they're going to ship it back to you. They're going to kick it back to you so you can fix it. You're going to receive an email telling you that it was declined. It will include the reason that it was declined. And all you're going to have to do is log in here, find the group, click the group name, scroll down, determine which documents are declined, and then determine how to fix them. You don't have to start over. You can edit almost everything. I want to bring to your attention that while this one was approved, it's not really recorded. It's only approved, so you don't have to do anything to it, okay? So you need to work on these 2 that are declined. Click the submission number, scroll to the bottom. They're asking to make sure it's please scanned in black and white. So you make the change, you get the document scanned in black and white, and you go to edit right here and scroll down here to replace document image. You're going to browse to where you have the new ones, the new document saved. And you'll select save. It will calculate the fees to make sure it's correct. So remember, this is number of pages in the image and the $3 e-submission fee for a total of $10. And then the status, did I not select submit? Save. Oh, save right there. And so, oh, I used a bigger image. I apologize. So it's $82 plus the $3. And the status updates to resubmission. Remember, it's still up here in your to-do list. It's still locked that you're working on it and the submit group is not active, okay? So now let's take a look at this one. Click the submission number, scroll to the bottom. Again, they're asking to have it scanned in black and white. So you're going to make that change, save it to your device, select edit, go right down here to replace document image, select that new image wherever you have it saved in black and white, select save. The fees are all calculated. Here's the total fees for the group. These 2 are in resubmission. This one's been improved. Nothing is being recorded. You haven't been charged. And right up here to the group that's locked, and now submit group is active. Last step, submit group. And there's your message that it was submitted successfully. So the recorder's notified it again that it's out there, and it's ready for them to review. And because that one is approved, they're really only going to review those other 2 documents that you just corrected. Okay, one more decline. Let's look at this one. Oh, these are both declined. You've got that email that you took a look at, and you see this submission number was declined because it's not in black and white. So edit and browse for the new one. When the recorder selects decline, they select a reason from a drop-down menu, and then they also have to enter a comment. And the comment may be, hey, please call us. Okay. Or it may say, call Iowa Land Records if they want us to walk through it with you. So I've corrected this one. It's in resubmission. I'm going to do the same with this one. And please correct the legal. So you're going to make that correction, select edit, find the new image. Both in resubmission, this group is still locked, submit group is active. We're going to select submit group. And that one was submitted successfully. Don't you like checking things off your to-do list? Okay, this one I named the group decline delete because I wanted to show you. You've submitted something, it came back declined, you got that email notification, and this one says it's the wrong county. So what you're going to do is click the delete button over here, the little trash can. It's going to ask you if you're sure, and you say, okay, then that one is gone. Then you can look at this one, and it says it's missing the notary. Okay, so you can make that correction. But if you really wanted to just start over, even though you don't have to, we can walk you through fixing almost anything. You can delete the group up here by clicking the trash can, and then that group will disappear. I am 100% serious when I say we can help you correct almost anything. What we can't help you correct is if something is recorded in error, or if the fees that you were charged are incorrect. That's something you would need to work with the county on, okay? Next is fee changes.
Before you go forward, we have a couple more questions. Do
Good.
documents still need the raised seal imprinted on them? If yes, do we need to make them more visible with carbon paper? Specify releases.
I guess that is really kind of up to you. Is it a notary seal? If it's a notary seal, then maybe, and you would want to make that raised. That would be a really good question for the recorder, however.
Your other question asks about font size and type, if it needs to all be the same in the entire document. Sometimes they're given a document that has cut and paste section that may not be the same as the rest of the document.
As long as it meets the document, the Iowa document formatting standards, I don't think that would be a problem. If you have a question about those standards, I would encourage you to just Google Iowa document formatting standards. I believe 10 point is the minimum, and I forget how many characters it is per inch. You want to make sure it's not too small, because it really does make it harder for it to be reproduced and be a legible record for use. Again, you're welcome to call our office and have a discussion, or call the recorder and have discussion. Is the different font size getting kicked back to you?
While they respond, we have another question asking if you can submit a deed, DOV, groundwater, and mortgage all in one submission, or must the mortgage be filed separate?
Yes, you can 100% do that. If you decided that you wanted the mortgages submitted separately, I would encourage you to submit the deed, the deck, and the groundwater, and get those recorded before submitting the mortgage, if you're going to do them separately. Because if you submit those first three documents, the conveyance document, the declaration of value, and the groundwater, and the mortgage in a separate group, but you submit them at the same time, and that deed package gets declined and the mortgage gets recorded, you may have to re-record the mortgage because it's ahead of the deed. So I always encourage either submit all four documents together, or make sure you get the first one recorded before you submit the second one.
And the response on your font size question is that no, there was no kickback because
Good.
of font size or type.
That's good. That makes me happy. Okay.
But they did say it was declined because the legal description wasn't complete.
Okay. All right, let's talk about fee changes. So you submit documents for recording, they're pushed back to you because the fees that were calculated are incorrect. And it's not that the system calculated them incorrectly, it's that the recorder reviewed it and said, okay, there should be more auditor transfer fees here, more assignments, whatever. So you're gonna get that email, it's gonna tell you there's a fee change. You have to come out here, look at the find the group in the fee change status and look at each submission. It's telling you to accept the fee change, and for more information, select the number. So I'm going to click on this submission number, and I'm going to scroll down, and it went from 10 to 17. That's the addition of that additional transaction that I talked about. So each document assumes one transaction. So this is one assignment of deed of trust, which is similar to a mortgage. So you've got, let's say I have two mortgages on my house, a first and a second, okay? And this bank is assigning both of them on the same document. That's where the additional transaction comes in. But in general, I would tell you, ignore that field, okay? So if you're good with those fees, that fee change, you can accept the fee change right here. And then this one, affidavit of non-transfer. This one went from 35 to 30. And I know what happened on this one because this was my group. It went from being an affidavit of transfer, which required an auditor fee because it is conveying property, to an affidavit of non-transfer, which is a statement of fact. So affidavit of transfer is often a affidavit of surviving spouse, where an affidavit of non-transfer, an example would be a homeowners association stating that someone's dues are current. So all you have to do is select fee change. There has been discussion within our group to say that you as a submitter would be able to say, hey, if the fee change is more or less than X, we will accept that automatically. That's not high on the development list yet, but it is absolutely on the list. Okay, you've accepted both those fee changes. Last step, submit group. Okay, let's do that one more time. So you've got another fee change, select that. You read the email, so you know what's going on. All you have to do is select the fee change and submit the group right here. I want to show you one more thing. Somebody made a comment about a groundwater. You know, there was a new law a couple years ago that said if there's no positive conditions on a groundwater, you don't have to submit the groundwater when you submit a conveyance document. So if you're familiar with that, you would understand. So you've got the deed here, and you've got submission number right here. And all you have to do is select the exemption down here, the groundwater exemption. If I remove that groundwater exemption and save it, the system tells me that it's looking for the groundwater. So my options are to add it. If the document requires it, remember there's language that has to be on the document. The system doesn't read the language, but it has to be there for the recorder. But for submission purposes, you do have to select the exemption box down here. You're not going to be selecting a number. All you're going to do is select the exemption box and make sure you have the correct language on the document. Okay. Last step, submit group. We're at 2:42. We have 18 minutes left. I will answer any questions you have. I will submit anything you want to see. What are we missing on the submission process? Okay, let's talk about searching for documents that you've submitted for recording. So you submit a doc for recording, the recorder reviews it, they record it, and what you're going to do when you get that notification that it's been recorded is go to eSearch, and then recently recorded right here, and then search. Blue bar tells you it's working, and there you've got it, all the documents that were recorded. That I'm going to use this one as an example because the documents I've been submitting, they're out there and ready for recorder status. So all you would do is select the submission number here and then review the document. And these are test docs, so I'm not sure what we're going to look at. And I honestly can't move it to my screen so you can see it. Not very exciting, okay? So that's how you get that. You can also search by group name. So if I searched by webinar, I'm going to search by 0514 and search. That's going to take a little bit longer. Ooh, they should have come up. Huh. Oh, not recorded. That's why it's not coming up. I apologize. We're going to search by county, Adair, and submission date. This is a really good way to check the status of your documents. I'm going to select search. And here's all those documents that I've been submitting throughout the webinar. And if I scroll way to the side, you can see, remember I approved that one in that group and the others were declined. So it's still an approved, ready for the recorder to review. And then the rest are in ready for recorder status. After the recorder approves it, the next status is ready for download, then downloaded, stamped, and then paid. And when it reaches the status of paid, that's when you'd be getting that email telling you that it's out there and ready for you to download it so you've got it for your files. If a payment fails, we had a long conversation about this earlier today in a meeting. If a payment fails, you'd receive an email from us telling you that it has failed. Like maybe you used a credit card that expired, you hit your limit, your card was compromised. We all know that happens. You'd receive an email from us and saying, hey, your payment failed. And then you'd receive a follow-up email from our customer support team saying, hey, your payment failed. Excuse me, you would need to update that payment information with a different card or by selecting a bank account. So that happens occasionally. We will work with you to make sure that gets resolved as quickly as possible. What else would you like to see, everyone? Let's go on to ILR search because I think it's a really good way. It's just a good segue, except there is not very much information in our staging environment. So let me log into the production site and I need a token. One second. Thanks for being patient. Okay, so my view as an admin is a little bit different, but the search function works the same. So I'm going to public search, and then I'm going to do name search and person. And Phil Denchi's our project manager. When he does webinars, he uses his own name. So I'm going to search for Phil, and he lives in Polk County. And I'm going to search for the last 5 years. How about that? So I'm just going to start with January 1st. So all we're going to get is anything that has his name as Phil, okay? But we all know his real name is Philip, right? So we're going to go over here and we're going to put an asterisk here as a wild card to make sure that we get anything that starts with PHIL and then search. And you're going to see that now we've got 6 results, okay? So it's got Philip, Phil. I thought there was one that had his name with 2 L's and I don't see that. So use the wild card. If you're searching for a really popular name, I would encourage you to use a smaller date range, like 5 years, 10 years. You can search up to 5 counties at one time. Will you ever be able to search all 99 counties at once again? I don't know the answer to that. That is a question that has been brought to our table and we are considering. We're about 1.5 years into this new search site. So we have to do a little bit of making sure everything works correctly. You could do a reference search. I'm going to search for this right here. So I would go to reference search, reference number, and Polk County. That'll bring up that record. If you ever have trouble finding something and you think you've got a book and a page, so you've got 2025 and then 1377 or something like that, but it's not working under book and page, search for 5 or 6 days in that year and determine the way the county indexes, okay? When you're searching for legal, it gets a little bit more difficult, but sometimes you do have to figure out the way the county is indexing because they're all a little bit unique. We're always happy to help that. I jokingly say if somebody says they can't find something, game on, let me help you. I kind of like that needle in the haystack thing. Document type search. So let's do a DARE. And let's look for all the mortgages. Current week. Let's see what we got. Only one. Okay, refined search. Last month, how many mortgages were in Adair County? 30. So you can make this display all of them, and you can sort in different ways by recording date, document type, reference number. So we're due recording date, reference number, ascending, and apply. So if you have results that look like this, you click here, you'll get more index information. Okay, I'm going to go back. This PDF that gets you to the image. I'm not going to open it. This little number right here, this little triangle, allows you to report an issue with a document. So you find something that the name is spelled incorrectly, the legal is incorrect. Maybe for this one, the section should be 28 instead of 29. You find some personally identifiable information, PII, a bank account number, a social security number. You can use that to report that to us. It will remove the image from public view immediately until we can take a look at it and determine if we need to send it to our redaction vendor to have that information redacted, or to ask the recorder to make a correction. Hey, a user said this should be section 28, not section 29. Can you please review, make a correction, send that update to Iowa Land Records? Hey, Jennifer's last name here should be Reed, not Red. Can you please take a look and update that and send that information over to us? And then finally, this is associated documents. So this is a mortgage. We have an associated document here. And if I click on it, it takes me over here and it shows me the associated document is a survey or a plat that this property is located in. So we're pretty happy with the way this turned out here with all of these little icons. Okay, we have about 5 minutes left. What other questions might you have? You have our contact information, and I really do hope that you will use it. We want this to be a good experience for you to use Iowa Land Records, both for electronic recording and searching. There's about 24 million records out there to be searched. They do vary county by county, how far back they go. In the last 6 weeks, about 150,000 more historical document images have become available as we've gotten more documents redacted. Counties continue to scan historical documents as resources allow. That's both time and money, as they can get those scanned and indexed and transferred to us. And then we do release batches of historical documents, which is anything prior to 2020. We do release those weekly to our redaction vendor. They usually pull those on Friday night and return them on Monday or Tuesday. And then our team works to make them public throughout the week. As far as current documents, so something recorded today, if the county uploaded it tonight, it would be pulled for redaction tonight and returned tomorrow. So you would be able to search for it and view it on the Iowa Land Records website. What have I missed, everybody?
There's a e-submission question asking about payment options.
Okay.
They're wondering how many different options there are: credit card, if there's additional fees for using a credit card, or if you could pay out of an account. They just want to know the options.
Options are a bank account or a credit card. If you use a bank account, EFT batch, we batch all of your charges at the end of the day, about 4:45, and go out through a system. We work with a vendor, a payment gateway, and request payment for all of those. So if you had 10 documents and they were 1 page each, with the e-submission fee, $100. That's what you would see hit your bank is $100, okay? When you use a credit card, there is an additional fee. That's the merchant processing fee. That's charged on all fees except the $3 e-submission fee. That fee is 0.01865. So it's under 2%. However, so on a one-page document, it's like 13 cents. I think on a 3-page document, it's 32 cents, or when charges are $17, it's 32 cents. Where it gets expensive is if you're doing $5,000 worth of transfer tax. So you may have, you have a couple options. One, you could switch it out for a bank account if you wanted to avoid those charges. Two, you could have different accounts. So if your organization has multiple locations and everybody has their own account that they use for payment, please allow us to set up different accounts for you. So you could have, Bank ABC Johnston, West Des Moines, Waukee, Clive, downtown, East near Lincoln, whatever works. We can help you set up multiple accounts with different logins for the administrator and then help you get users set up on each of those accounts. But there is a charge for using a credit card. It's the same fee that we're charged, so we're not making any money on it. It's a fee we're passing on. So remember, you can have multiple accounts. You can have as many users on each account as you want. There's no annual fee. There's no application fee. And we really are here to help you to make it be a good experience for electronic recording. I love how fast it is. I know it's almost 3 o'clock, but there are some counties that if you submitted now, you could potentially still have recorded documents before the end of the day, as opposed to dropping it in the mail on the way home, where they would get it tomorrow or Friday and you would get it back Monday or Tuesday. You could still have a recorded document today. Some counties cut off about 3:30 because they close at 4, and so they want time to reconcile and close up all their books, so they stop at 3:30. Some record right up until 4:30 or 5 when their office closes. But the recorders are fabulous people and we really enjoy working with them. Other questions? Thank you all for joining us. It's been a pleasure. I really do hope you'll use this as the resource that we are. And if you need more help, if you're a new submitter and you're ready to submit your first group, scan your documents, call us, we'll walk you through it, stick with you the whole way through, and even monitor the group with you throughout the day to make sure everything happens correctly. We'd be happy to do training for you and your team anytime. This webinar was recorded, so we'll get that sent out to you. Thank you. Have a great day. It looks like it's really nice and we should all get outside as quickly as possible. Thanks so much. Have a good day.